Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be going through the new TCG exclusive archetype, Mimighoul. Now, this deck is very cool, and I'm very happy Konami actually made an exclusive deck actually playable, which is like massive news because they hyped up Ashend, the last TCG exclusive, a lot. They give it a nice little intro video and a promo, and it unfortunately didn't turn out to be that great. The cards weren't or didn't have that much quality to them. They had a cool little game plan strategy, but it wasn't very consistent. But I have a lot of hope for this deck. I don't think it'll break the game or be the best deck in the format. However, I think it gives players a budget alternative to play a very cool deck that is like a control, very slow-paced deck. Can play a lot of non-engine cards. Can do some funny stuff going second as well. And yeah, just a really cool themed deck. They did a fantastic job in terms of giving the deck an intro, which I highly recommend you check it out. If you just go on YouTube, type in Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, it'll be one of the videos recently. They did a fantastic introduction to the deck, what the cards do. So I'm not really going to explain what the cards do in that much detail in this video, but I'm going to give you guys sort of like an intro, a cookie cutter deck list to take next week when the set officially drops. I know the cards are fairly affordable right now on pre-sale, which it was really good to see for the game, like just a cheap deck out of the blocks. And yeah, like as well as the cards being cool in terms of what they can do, this guy Mimighoul Master looks absolutely amazing, and I love the sort of the gimmick, the artwork. It's just cool. It looks like a really cool deck, just to like for new players, existing players. I'm most certainly going to try and cook with it at locals and stuff, so hopefully you guys subscribe by then so you can see some sort of gameplay and how the deck works. I'll try and do a little combo video towards the end of the video, just sort of explain like one or two card combos, how that sort of works, how the deck looks to set up turn one. But yeah, I'll sort of go straight into it, give you guys a deck profile. So obviously you can literally just screenshot this and test it out for yourself, but I'll sort of explain my choices in a bit more detail as we go through them. So we start off with the engine. Mimighoul Master, he is the main sort of normal summon the deck. He adds a monster when he's normal summoned, and quick effects, he can change a face down defense position monster on the field to face up. So that's really good when you set up your turn 1 play. You can trigger all your bonus effects for the Mimighouls with his quick effects. This is main phase only, so he does play into talents, but it is just a key card for the archetype. Also cannot be short battle or card effects while your opponent has any face down cards, which is quite nice. And then of course we have the rest of the Mimighoul monsters, Archfiends. This is probably the one you want to set up. Like if you can set up all 3 of them turn 1, I think you're in a good position, because your opponent probably has to flip them all up, right? If you have field spell, your opponent has no choice but to flip these guys up. They'll probably flip up this guy first so it doesn't destroy anything. You get control of it. They'll flip up this guy. They loop a card out their hand. You get to draw a card. And then they'll probably do this one. This is the worst one, in my opinion. Doesn't have that great of effect of in terms of like these guys, but it's still nice to set up still, because if they're forced to flip up all their cards, if you have the field spell, then you can get some like funny, like you might hit a Fenrir or something, or get something funny off the banishes, but also does create a bit of variance. It banishes 3 cards, could hit like a key one-off in a strategy. But also this effect is really underrated because of course Cosmic on the field spell is also pretty good. Cosmic in general means the deck's pretty good. So having this built-in protection is actually really nice for the deck. So that's it for the monsters. I only wanted to play the one-off of the Cerberus. I didn't think the quality of it was that good. But yeah, I think the rest of the cards are definitely 3-ofs. For now, because this deck will get more support, which is brilliant. Now the field spell, which is the best card in this deck, in my opinion, by a mile. Or not by a mile, I think the trap card is actually pretty solid as well, but we get onto that one in a second. So essentially the field spell gives all your guys buffs for attack, equal to defense, so it makes Master 3k, which is pretty decent. That's a pretty respectable stat line for a normal level 4 normal summon. Then any player controlling a face down monster cannot normal summon monsters or declare attacks with special summon monsters. Now this is pretty significant because obviously a lot of decks rely on the normal summon. Snake Eye of course can just use Witch or Bonfire to play around it, but when you have synergy with the trap card, which can Book a Moon monsters and basically give them more Mimighouls. You could essentially just keep setting up so they can't normal summon, and eventually decks will run out of extenders. And for Tenpai, of course, that deck is very normal summon reliant, so a lot of strategies it can just turn off by itself. And obviously you can keep pinning back your opponent, giving them more face-down monsters, and obviously using the non-engine that you have in the deck to kind of just pin them down, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so obviously terraforming, because the field spell is really good. Set rotation to give you access to a Fenrir package, because I feel like this deck needs a bit more oomph. Going first and second, so I think Fenrir is a perfect card for that, because set rotation gives you access to your engine field spell, and of course the Kashtira field spell, so which is quite nice. Now, Mimighoul makers. Now, I've seen a lot of people cook with like Guard Dog and other like silly effect monsters, but honestly, I don't think it's worth it, because there's a bit of RNG involved. So because if you flip, I don't know, like Guard Dog. Okay, so Guard Dog here has the flip effect monster. You have to reveal 2 different names. So a little bit of like RNG. So I'm not the biggest fan of this, unless there's a combo I'm not aware of. I think it's fine just like reveal your Mimighoul names over like any sort of extravagant, unless there's like something else you can pair with this to sort of guarantee it. But yeah, it could be used, but it's not a combo that I'm aware of or I've seen. But if there is, I'll probably do an updated combo to show you guys. But essentially what this does is it turbos out all your flip effects and allows you to special summon the dragon. So if you open field spell and this, there's a combo where you can special summon this off the maker, and this adds a spell or trap when it's summoned. So you can literally just add the trap, which is fantastic because you can set up fairly decently. And obviously this guy, I think the normal summon obviously is probably sometimes better than master. But we'll kind of get to that when we do the combo. I'm playing 1-for-1 as well, just prosperity as well, to get you into field spell, which is like or maker, like either or. And then of course we just play non-engine. So like shifter is debatable. You could literally just play, if you don't want to play shifter, you can play Veiler, but I feel like this card's like really high impact. You don't really use the grave that much, so I think shifter's fine. Maybe like Gravekeeper's Inscription as well. Inscription, this card is fairly decent going first and second. You can just declare like an Abyss Dweller effect. Neither player can banish, neither player can special on grave. So yeah, it's just another non-engine slot that could be utilized in this deck. But you could just play hand traps, like if you're unsure, like Veilers, Mourners, Nibs, whatever. Daruma Cannon, I feel like it's quite niche and quite cool in this deck because it's good going first and second, and obviously it plays into the archetype strategy where you want to give your opponent face-down monsters. And of course, if you Daruma them, they cannot change the battle position of those cards, but if they summon in that turn, so that obviously plays into this a lot better, especially if they, I don't know, like you let them play for a bit, you use like 1 or 2 extenders, you Daruma them, and then like it puts them in an awkward position where they have to just like survive, right? Because if you pass turn back to them, if they pass him back to you, you're gonna have like a bunch of names and they're all boosted by the field spell. It can get really awkward, and of course you can just clear up boards, which is quite nice. But yeah, that's kind of it for like the main deck. Just like something to think about, like a cookie cutter deck list. You can sort of mess around with yourself, take a screenshot of it, try it, let me know in the comments if it works or not. But this is like my first initial take on the deck. But yeah, I'll probably do like an updated deck profile when I sort of take it to locals, experiment with it, see how it goes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And obviously for the extra deck, I honestly don't think it's needed. You literally, this is like a Floowandereeze extra deck, which is hilarious. But one card I really like is the Silhouette Rabbit, which is in the latest set info. Essentially, if you don't know what it does, it's a link 2 monster, any 2 effect monsters. And the main effect of this card is to, if it's link summoned, set any continuous trap from your deck that has the effect to special summon itself. And then the big one do you want to summon off this is a Popsis Swamp Deity, the deity or whatever. So this obviously special summons itself, and then in the same effect, you can negate the effect of face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of continuous trap cards you control. So this can negate the problematic side cards, game 2 and 3, like your even, like your Dusters, your Lightning Storms, because like this deck plays pretty well about Imperm evenly. Cosmic could sometimes be an issue, but you kind of can play around it with Cerberus, which is quite nice. So this card gives you like a little end board, game 2 and 3 to play around those like side deck cards, which is quite neat. I think this card will see a lot of play in a TCG, not immediately, But I feel like this card will see play. This card is actually really strong. The fact it's a generic, any 2 monsters give you a card like this in the format, pretty solid. Like any deck with like redundant bodies, I feel like that could be good. And like even hard opening this is like absolutely fine because it's just, you just summon it, right, and you can still apply the effect. So it's not really a brick if you draw it. But yeah, that's kind of it for the extra deck. I mean, you might summon like an Anima and maybe an SP. Other than that, I don't think the rest of it is that relevant. But for the side deck, you could also play, like I said, like Waking the Dragon could probably be fine. If your opponent feels like their Lightning Storms, Dusters, their back row hate are like the only answers to your plays. Hand traps could be an issue potentially. Maybe you could like side in some talents and stuff or crossouts or whatever. But I feel like if your opponent feels like the back row removal is probably the main way to tackle the strategy, we just play Waking the Dragon. So it's yeah, it creates like a funny dynamic in this deck where people will probably take a couple of times to figure it out. But immediately I think Waking the Dragon could be something you could side in. But I think Judgment's like probably consistently better for now. And obviously this for the Celebrate Rabbit. We could play There Can Be and Gozen. These cards could be the main deck over Druma Cannon. But I feel like these obviously hit more specific matchups post-side in. And then we have our evening matches, back row hate, and then the draw, because it's the high impact hand trap that probably gives us the most out of value considering the deck is very slow. But yeah, that's kind of it, guys. I'm really excited to like test this deck out and kind of see how it goes. And yeah, I'll do a little combo video now just to follow it up. Okay, so I'm going to do a little combo video for you guys, just a 2-card combo when you open Maker plus Dungeon. So I'm just going to show you guys like what the game plan is, how the deck sort of works out. But yeah, we'll sort of lead with Dungeon to add a Mimighoul monster. So we're not going to add Master here, we're actually going to add the Dragon, because we want to make sure we can special summon it off Maker, because Maker has a little bit of RNG to it, where your opponent randomly picks one. If you reveal this, there's no guarantee you can add it, so we just want to ensure that we can special summon this card. And of course, this is a 2-card combo, so if you open Master, you can of course normal summon it. So this combo actually doesn't use this normal summon. And then we just go into activate Maker, probably revealing the Archfiend and the Cerberus immediately. We're not going to do Dragon just yet, because we can special summon it off the trap. So what we're going to do is, I don't know, let's flip a coin. Let's just say heads, tails. Tails, so we give our opponent the Cerberus, it's absolutely fine. Just going to set that here and then put this underneath any sort of like problematic link zones. And then this goes to hand, and then we resolve the Maker to special summon the Dragon. And then Dragon triggers to add a spell or trap. We're just going to literally add the trap card. And then we need to declare the effect of Archfiend just to set it and give it to our opponent. And then set. So we haven't used our normal summon, so if you have Master, you can just normal summon Master, give your opponent the third set, which would be the Dragon. But from here, your opponent's gonna probably gonna start flipping these guys to normal summon. Obviously, if they can play, then absolutely fine. We can always trap to like Book of Moon their guys. So yeah, here in your opponent's draw phase, obviously, if they'll probably most likely just start flipping stuff up. Because they can't normal summon, right? So if they lead with extenders, either way, that's absolutely fine. Because Maker, when they special summon, you can actually banish it from the grave, and then target face down monster your opponent controls and turn to face up attack. So you can actually like just force these out anyway. So yeah, obviously we have this to special summon out Master and then forcibly trigger out one of these. Like we can just special summon this. Let's say they lead with the extender, you can special summon this. Special summon Mimighoul monster from your hand or deck to your field or face down to your opponent's field. And then you can change from a face up monster on the field to face down defense. So essentially just a Book of Moon, but you also get a body as well, which is quite nice. And then of course when it's in grave, you can just bounce Mimighouls to your hand. Now this probably looks like underwhelming, but of course the Maker as well. If your opponent special summons, you can banish it from your grave, target a face down monster your opponent controls and turn it face up. So you can just like trigger these guys out manually. If you want to give them the Dragon, if you want to like have Dragon be searched off Maker to sort of enable this like even further, then that's absolutely fine. Like there's loads of little ways you can like tailor make your end board depending on the matchup, which is quite nice. Especially if they're like normal summon reliant, right? If if Dungeon goes hard against those matchups that are normal summon, you can play like a bit more slower and maybe like play around as board breakers a little bit more. But yeah, that's kind of like what you want to set up turn 1. Obviously, this quick effect can start like flipping these guys up. Start like banishing cards on top of the deck. This comes over to you, and then flips up. You get a draw. They have to loop a card, and then they have to clear your board, right? Because you've got like a bunch of monsters on the field with Dungeon, with big bodies. Like this probably goes in attack to be fixed. It's a 3k attack. So yeah, like the deck can do some like cool stuff. It's pretty funny, pretty like cool little control deck that's been introduced to the game. I'm really excited to like take it to local. So if you guys want to see some gameplay on it, absolutely let me know, and I'll do my best to try and get some content out on it as soon as possible. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys soon.